Hello and welcome to another episode of the B11 show. I'm Tyler. I'm here with my friend Sam.
Call me Spooky Speck. Don't call me that. I'm sorry.
And we're here today to give you a little bit of an intro for today's B11 show. So a couple things really quick. Quick comment about our video that went up on Friday. Unfortunately, it's our Civ 5. What is the actual title, Sam?
I think I called it This Day in Civ 5, and then The Rise of Butt Nation, Episode 1. It's a long title.
So, essentially what happened was my computer could not quite handle, it seems, the audio recording, the video, like the recording of playing Civ 5 and the actual running of Civ 5 all at the same time. And so the FPS is a little bit... bad.
And I didn't even, I don't realize it in Premiere, and this is why I should probably check it afterwards, but we're learning. Anyway, because I don't have full frames going on in Premiere.
Yeah, so we wanted to do a quick apology. Unfortunately, that kind of stuff happens, but we decided to leave it up because we think the audio is fine, and, hopefully it doesn't interfere with the comedy.
Indeed. Sorry again.
How did you put it?
Oh, in the description?
Yeah.
I was like, sorry about the frames. It was a problem in the recording process. We couldn't fix it. Hopefully, it won't interfere with the butt jokes.
And I don't think it will. Another quick comment about today's episode. We have guest Catherine on, and we recorded it in a car. We decided to do it as kind of a throwback to some old, honestly, all the way back to some old cattle face days. So we recorded it in a car, and so there are car sounds, and they can't all be edited out, unfortunately.
So apologies for that as well.
But again, the comedy is there. The next episode we will be putting up won't be that way. And then this next Friday, we're going to be releasing the first in a kind of ongoing series that I'm hosting called Hard Mode with Tyler. Hard Mode.
Look forward to that.
So far, they've all kind of been with Sam. But the concept is essentially I take games and I play them on hard mode. That's really it.
See Tyler cry.
Yeah, I slightly get worked up in video games. You wouldn't tell by my calm, collected demeanor right now, but I freak out.
So,
miss anything big?
Also, just to mention that this was recorded a while back ago when we were still setting everything up for launch. So, we talk about stuff that's old, and also, I think Spider-Man just came out, and we mentioned that, the Spider-Man Homecoming, so you can see how old that is. Hear how old that is.
Well, that was a great movie regardless.
It was a good movie.
That was exactly what I said. I have not changed my mind on it. I guess the last thing, I'm sure we mentioned it, but again, if you could like, comment, subscribe, take a look at our Patreon. Quick shout out and thanks to Rowan, our Patreon supporter right now.
Woo woo.
And yeah, enjoy the show.
Boo.
So this is just it's rolling now, but we're just gonna kind of have a conversation, and then we're just gonna fade in about a quarter of the way into the conversation. So what's the weirdest dream you've ever had? Because do you ever have reoccurring dreams? Because I definitely have had so I've had this weird reoccurring dream where I'm on this game board and I'm being chased by all these spooky monsters. I can see an overarching thing, but it's me that's running around the game board. and then like all of these spooky monsters and stuff are chasing me, and then it turns out I'm like inside a Walmart, and like this is a reoccurring dream I have.
Oh, really?
I think it's really weird. Reoccurring dreams, is that a thing that other people have?
I mean, I'm sure.
Have you ever had one?
In my younger years.
David used to have one, and he'll hate me for saying this. David used to have a reoccurring dream after he saw Jaws that it was a giant pickle in the water coming to eat him. Because David hates pickles. What was your younger years dream, reoccurring dream?
What was
Catherine, have you ever had a reoccurring dream?
Not that I can remember, but I'm sure I have.
it? Yeah. I don't really remember my dreams anymore.
Because you don't have any.
Sing!
Oh! Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the B11
How did you get in here?
show. What?
Get out of here.
What do you mean?
Who's that person listening to us? Get out of here. You're scaring me. Jokes.
Welcome to another episode of the B11 show.
That just fell and died, didn't it?
Sorry. I am Tyler. I'm here with my co-host, Sam. Say hello to the people.
I prefer the title Muffin Man.
I'm here with my co-host, the Muffin Man, and our esteemed guest and Harry Potter expert,
Not an expert.
Catherine Halliday. I hope you don't mind me using your last name. I can just bleep that out if you don't want it.
It's fine.
So this is kind of a show. We've already done kind of like the. Thank you. We've done our intro already. I'm assuming.
Catherine.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
yes. Welcome to the show, Catherine. How's it going?
Yay.
I'm very tired.
She's very tired. Yeah. So this quick little backstory. I think we probably already said something about this, but it's 7:30 in the morning right now, and yeah, we are driving. I have a chiropractic appointment at 8:15, and I'm hoping I make it there on time. But so we're recording this in the car, so I apologize for the lower audio quality. So anyway, let's just bump right into the discussion today.
Bump right in. That's
Bump it, right in. So, Catherine, you are quite the connoisseur. That's French for you like things. Of Harry Potter. You're a Harry Potter liker.
I do like the Harry Potter.
So, I guess, I feel like a lot of people are really into Harry Potter, or have been at some point. Do you want to just talk a little bit about how you got into it, like, at first? Because I think everyone has a little bit different of a story. I definitely remember when I got into Harry Potter. Do you, anything in particular?
Yeah, my sister ordered the books every time that they were released and would read them immediately. So I kind of just inherited the books from her. And of course, I was 5 or 6 when the first one came out, so I wasn't like old enough to really comprehend. I tried to get my mom to read The Sorcerer's Stone to me as a bedtime story, and it just didn't work because they were so, like, it's not a book that you can really read as a 5-year-old. I don't know, maybe some people have, but I would read them on road trips with my family over the summers when I was older and maybe 10 or so. I actually remember coloring on the cover of Sarah's copy of The Sorcerer's Stone, and she was very angry with me. So that's my distinct memory of the books as they were released. I kind of just inherited them and read them as they happened. So.
Okay, and you just recently listened to all of the audiobooks, right?
Yeah, well, starting with the third, which is basically the whole series. But yeah, I started the Prisoner of Azkaban last June, and then I finished Deathly Hallows a couple weeks ago.
Okay. so then right after that happened, Catherine and I went through and watched all 7 of the movies as well. That's what I meant. And also, we watched Fantastic Beast in the last couple of weeks too. So
We did.
that's all of them. So what sticks out to you about the Harry Potter universe that like makes it so like appealing to you? Because I definitely think that it's a universe that's really interesting. But like, is there something that you grip onto that you're like, that's why I love Harry Potter, as opposed to like Lord of the Rings, which Sam doesn't believe in.
Doesn't exist.
I think it's I don't know, because every story kind of has that same good versus evil sort of concept, which is obvious in Harry Potter, but it's so relatable to everyone that reads it. Like, you could be 12 and wonder why you didn't get your Hogwarts letter, or you can be 30 and like
Man, I was so pissed when I didn't get my letter. And I kept making excuses. I was like, maybe it'll come next year. Maybe it'll come next year. Maybe they couldn't find my house. I was so mad. Anyway, sorry.
okay.
You could be 30 and
and
Yeah,
just
my letter.
relate to
you just didn't go?
Nope. Didn't wanna. Not my thing.
Not my thing.
Sorry, Catherine.
Sam just doesn't like school.
I don't like school either, it's fine. But yeah, it's what I have noticed in this kind of sequence.
Sam just asked if that was my chiropractor. For those of you listening, we just pulled off on kind of a dirt road because it's a shortcut to get to the interstate. And there was like this creepy looking cabin. Sam pointed at it and said, "Is that your chiropractor?" Yep. Anyway, sorry.
Catherine.
Continue. Can't.
I can't even remember that. But what really stuck out to me this time around with listening to the series of books and watching all the movies is the relationship between Harry and his group of friends and his parents and their group of friends, and like the order, and how they were so tight-knit when it was like James and Sirius and Lupin and everybody that like helps Harry in the future, and then Harry has that same support group with Ron and Hermione and everyone else in Dumbledore's army. So it's kind of it's a repetition of history of the closeness of your support group, which I think is really interesting, because it would not have been the series if he didn't have the friends that he did. So.
Yeah, and kind of a Lord of the Rings parallel here is like, it's kind of that same way with Lord of the Rings, with like Frodo's the main character, but he wouldn't be able to have done anything he did without Sam or any of the other, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, it's really interesting that like good stories like that always have, there's the main character and then there is the support system for the main character, and that's almost like a developed main character is really important in a story. However, it's the people that surround that main character that really make it something special. I'm going to apologize real quick to the audience. I might get a little bit rough and loud in this car because we're on a dirt road that's kind of gravelly. But we'll be off in about 5 minutes. So anyway, is there anything else in particular, any like memorable moments about Harry Potter that you're like, this is like my favorite moment in Harry Potter history?
I have a few favorites, I suppose. I actually didn't realize until this last reintroduction, because I know people that have, read the series every single summer for their entire lives, or at least twice a year, and like know every detail inside and out, and I'm not that person. Like, I just like the series.
Do you realize what you just said?
What?
I'm sorry, I have to point this out. You said what did you say? You said there are some people that listen to it every summer, or at least twice a year.
Yeah,
Like-
at least twice a year.
You went from something like once, and you're like, well, at least twice a year.
I'm making a shout out to Celine Hall over here with her very
Celine
thorough.
is cool.
She's a very cool lady, very thorough knowledge of Harry Potter. I actually have a Trivial Pursuit game of just Harry Potter questions, and I made her dinner a couple weeks ago, and we played, and she answered every single question with no struggle at all, because she knows everything. I am not the person that knows everything. I have to guess and make assumptions, because I know what happens, and I know who does what, kind of, but like, she knows all of the details of different members of the Gryffindor Quidditch team and what they do in different contexts of their social lives, like, that are not even pertinent to the series, really. And you'll find that with people in our generation, because we grew up with Harry, and we cared so much about Harry that we read and watched and read and watched and read and watched as much as we could.
So I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually the same, and so is Sam, the exact age of Harry Potter. We grew up as the books were coming out yearly. He grew up with us, like exactly the same age. So that was really cool to be a part of that. Sam and I are the same age. Catherine's like a little baby.
I'm not a baby.
Man.
Sam is also a little baby, but that's
Yeah.
different. Not by age, by choice.
You're by maturity.
Anyway, you were talking about. Go ahead, Sam.
I've been trying to ask this question the whole time.
Go ahead, Sam.
I'm kidding. I just thought of it now. Anyway, what did you think of the latest movie?
The Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, it was very unique to kind of see the wizarding world in the context of the United States, because I hadn't even considered that it would be anywhere but Europe, because that's just where J.K. Rowling set the entire world. Like, you would hear about, of course we heard about the other schools in France and wherever. Where was Durmstrang? Where's Victor come from?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. But yeah, and then you have like the dragons in Romania, because that's where Ron's brother was working, and
I think they went to Egypt at one point.
yeah, and then definitely in Egypt. But
That's the third book.
you don't really think about how this fictional world could also be fictional in more places than just
Yeah.
where the books are written. So it was cool to kind of like hear about how Rowling would entire because she's she's the queen of the entire idea. She can make up whatever she wants to, whenever she wants to. So the Magical Congress of the United States of America probably didn't even exist until just recently when Fantastic Beasts came out, because it wasn't in the original series, so why would it? But then applying all of that history, because I actually also did listen to the audiobook of Fantastic Beasts, the history of Newt Scamander, I think is the name of the fictional author of Fantastic Beasts. Hearing his history of going to the U.S. to study the animals that are in the U.S., as well as everything else in Europe and beyond, was different than what I would have expected to see be an outcome of the series, I think. But it makes a lot of sense, because it applies what we already know and love to what could be in our backyards.
Any last comments about Harry Potter? If you had to pick like your one favorite like spot, like the moment for you that just makes it click, you know what I mean?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
There was one we just watched, the 8th movie. So of course there's the line when Bellatrix starts to attack Ginny, and Molly says, "Not my daughter, you bitch," and that's the best thing ever. But there was another part that was really cool, and I forget what it was.
I know when I watched the last one, it was the thing that got me. What was it? It was something to do with, there was Snape, and it was like in the pensive, and he's like, Dumbledore like, still after all this time, and he's like, always. And then like a little bit later, I don't know if it was Harry that said it, but someone else said always, and it really hit me.
It was when Harry had the resurrection stone.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't leave me," or like never.
Or he's like, "Will you be with me, or will you stay with me?"
Stay with me.
And she said, "Always."
Because of course, like that's how it always has been. Because we think, getting real into it now, we think that he can't have done what he did without the support of like Ron, Hermione, and Dumbledore, whatever. But that at that moment in time, that's when we realize that through every single thing that he had done, his parents and Sirius and Lupin had also been there to support him.
Well, in real talk time, I mean, like, that really kind of leads into our lives. Like, you may feel alone in your life, and I think this is the reason these books are can be so, like, meaningful to people, is that really does show that, like, you may not have physical people there with you, but that does not mean you don't have a support system and you don't have people that care for you.
Right.
And, I mean, that's just the way that it was portrayed through these books, but it's definitely, it's definitely really cool. So, we're going to move on to the...
Well done, Catherine.
Yes, well done. Thank you for joining us.
I woke up.
She woke up. She was sleeping that whole time.
I can throw my voice really well.
Go catch it. Sorry for that dad joke. Sorry.
That was great. Don't apologize. Take back that apology.
I take it back. Take it back. We're gonna move on to my segment today. So I just want to talk briefly about how I don't believe that comedy is a medium that works in movies. So here's the thing. There are so many bad comedy movies, and the ones that work, in my opinion, play like television. Like Airplane, which I think is hilarious. It definitely plays like a TV show.
In what way?
So here's the... Okay, let me go into why I don't like this first. So the problem with movies is that you have to, you don't have to, but I feel like directors need to make it so that you don't feel like you've wasted your 2.5 hours, right? Or your 2 hours, or however long the movie is. And so there needs to be a payoff somewhere. And so you can't have 1.5 hours of just stupid stuff and people screwing around and people doing dumb things, and then have a half hour of like meaningful payoff or whatever. Because that meaningful payoff falls short and it's dumb. It's ultimately the overarching plot that doesn't work with film. So with TV, where that does it better is in TV, you can definitely just spend 20 minutes doing stupid stuff. And like the reason it works in The Office is because it's one silly premise and they can explore that silly premise. And then the next week they can have another silly premise and they can explore that. And there can be little tiny story arc pieces in it so that every week you get a little bit of that payoff, but it's mostly based on the comedy. But then you feel fulfillment over that overarching season, because, I mean, that's part of the reason people come back to TV shows, is because they think, they watch and they're like, wow, that's really funny, and I want to know what happens to Jim and Pam. But in movies, they can't really do that. I don't know. Why don't you, so the way Airplane kind of plays like a TV show, in my mind, and forgive me because it's been a while since I've seen it. In fact, I think the last time I saw it was when we watched it together. But there's not a huge, like, ginormous overarching plot, is there? Through the whole, like, there kind of is, but it's kind of loosely there. Like, it's not really, there's not like a huge payoff at the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, you just, from what I remember, you got the pilot and the stewardess, and like the actual pilot goes down or something, and so they save the day.
Yeah. See, it's like what you remember from Airplane is not the great story. It's the Don't Call Me Shirley and the, you know, all of the jokes that are in there. That's what you remember from those movies. And I just feel like it's better in a it's at least most of the time it's done better in television. Have you any thoughts on that?
I don't know if I agree. I feel like I've seen plenty of funny movies.
Like?
Okay. Well, they just put Young Frankenstein on Netflix. I watched that. That was very funny.
That is very funny.
You know, I think just recently, you know, like the Jump Street movies are funny.
Recently.
Yeah.
The remakes of the...
Yeah, of the TV show.
I just feel like that emotional payoff is unnecessary, and it just makes the movies less funny than they would be otherwise. I don't know. The movies can't just be about comedy if they are... Now, I'm not saying there aren't funny movies. Like, Spider-Man I thought was pretty funny. But I don't think... I mean, it was obviously not marketed as a comedy. It's not a comedy movie. And I definitely think there's a place for comedy in movies. But I just don't think that having a comedy movie is necessarily the best. And I think that's why so many comedy movies fall flat, is because they do just try to, like... They're like, jokes, and let's half-ass this payoff. You know what I mean? The movie's a funny premise, but then the premise needs to resolve because it's a movie, and that's what movies do. You can't just leave it at a cliffhanger. You know, like what's a funny premise? A dentist realizes he never actually got a dental license from like a real place, and so he has to go back to dentist school as like a 40-year-old guy, starring Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is going back to dentist school. Well, at the end of that, you know, like I feel like people try to fit that in that 3-act structure where, like, right in the 3rd act, it's like, well, he needs to, you know, oh no, he's in this dentist off with the young suave dentist played by Will Arnett. Oh, no, we have a movie here, man. We have a movie.
Yep.
It's called Tooth Hurdy. But anyway, I don't know. But so then, like, oh no, they have to have this dentist off, and it doesn't seem like he's gonna win because he's got this guy and he's got to do this root canal. Oh no, he's not gonna get it in time, and then it has to pay off, and then he gets his diploma, and then he gets back to his practice, and he can, you know, do that. There's a lot of jokes that could be in that movie, but trying to fit it in that 3-act structure just makes it kind of, I don't know. Like, I can already tell you exactly how the movie goes because of that 3-act structure, and it makes it less...
Isn't that the same in TV? It just takes longer?
Or, I mean, you could say it takes shorter in TV. Like, let's say this was a TV show, and every episode he's, like, in dentist college. Every episode would have that formula as well, I'm sure. But the formula in TV works so much better because it, like, you can just make it about, like, in this one, he has to go give root canals to underprivileged children in the Bronx. Oh, Chevy Chase.
I'm Chevy Chase.
Right, and that's the premise for that episode. And then the next episode, you can have a premise that's like, oh, I don't know, what's something funny? I don't know. He falls in love with this girl as like right before, and then he novocaines her. Like he has to do dentist work on this girl he fell in love with, just because he thinks she's super attractive, right?
Uh-huh.
And that comes with its own set of jokes and its own set of funniness. And like, so slowly he's going through dentist college, kind of like Community. Like they go through the school years, and there's that progression, but it's not necessarily. It doesn't have to be as formulaic as movies do. I don't know. You chew on it a little bit, and that's 2:30. Chew on it. All right. I think it's time for our Wikipedia article of the day.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The article of the day, or the random article of the day, I should say, is the list of University of Canberra people.
The list.
This is an incomplete list of the University of Canberra people, including notable alumni and staff.
Ooh. Who went there?
So, let me...
This is great. This is great. I love this. I always wanted to know this.
Oh, it's in Australia.
Australia.
Mate,
Mate.
rise up, lads.
I'm Hugh Jackman, mate.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman, mate. You have to kind of do the elbows when you do the Australian, right? I'm an Australian, mate. You have to do the elbows. I'm an Australian, mate.
Not doing the elbows.
They're trying to get me Lucky Charms, mate.
Have a accent. It's not necessarily an Australian one. Alright.
Cuckoo for my Cocoa Puffs, mate. Alright, give me some names.
Alright.
Is there anyone named Denise?
I'll find a Denise.
You better start reading some stuff or I'm just gonna
I'm
keep
looking
talking.
for a Denise.
I'm just gonna keep talking in this terrible accent.
Okay.
Give me 3 notable people.
3 notable people.
3 notable people. Go.
A lot of rugby players.
Because we like rugby, mate.
Australia.
This bit is too old. I don't like this bit anymore.
Nathan Deeks,
Nathan Deeks,
an
mate.
Olympic athlete.
Ooh.
David Vernon is a writer. What did he write? Let's see what he wrote.
David Vernon, mate.
Wrote about Australia. Wrote of Men at Birth. What is this? Of birth experiences written by men.
Okay.
Stuff like that. We got more authors. Kate Kennedy.
Is that JFK's wife?
Sure it is.
Or mistress? Married mistress?
Pretty sure that's Marilyn Monroe. Dark Roots, she wrote that.
Dark Roots, mate.
Bunch of Australian stuff.
So University of Canberra.
Yep.
List, we'll have that link in the
Let's-
description.
Let's go there now.
In case you're riveted and you just have the strongest desire to look at this.
Got a member of the Australian House of Representatives.
If you happen to find anything interesting, why don't you go ahead and send it to us? Now I think it's time for Sam's segment.
So, Tyler, let me give you the down low.
The DL, as they say.
As the kids say,
Whose kids?
all the kids.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, I mean, I enjoy playing the games. And so I've been Playing those Kingdom Hearts. I got the collection on PS4.
So is the collection like all of it, like including like the old PSP games that came out and everything?
It's most of them.
Okay.
There is, there's this, and then there's 2 games on a different collection.
Okay.
And I believe on the other collection is it's like a 3DS game, and then a new game that's like a prologue for Kingdom Hearts 3, I think.
Oh, cool.
It's using the engine that Kingdom Hearts 3 does.
And that's coming out soon, isn't it? Is it coming out this year or next year?
No release date,
Oh, okay.
so who knows?
That's good. I'd rather that than put a release date on it and make it crappy, which happens too often.
What do you mean?
Like, a lot of times people put release dates on things, and then they just try to hurry to get it done for that release date. Like, Andromeda. Yeah? Would you say that?
Yeah, I guess it was good, yeah.
Or even Bioshock Infinite, which turned out to be a good game, but could have been an even better game.
Anyway, so I played one. I'm playing one right now.
Okay.
So
That's a good game.
yeah, it is a good
I
game.
really love that game. The gameplay's fun. It's just a cool universe.
Going to all the Disney worlds and such.
Is that all you wanted to talk about today in your segment?
It seems. We'll see if I understand all of it when I play all the games, because that series is pretty complicated.
Yeah, well then you get into the thing where you have like the 3 different people, like you have Terra and what's the girl's name?
Aqua, Ventus,
Yeah.
and Birth by Sleep.
Yeah. That was a really fun game. Like I played through all 3 different characters in that
Oh
game.
yeah.
Because like once you're done, you can restart as a different character. And I thought that was a cool thing. Like you can play as each of the characters, but like it's a different storyline.
Yeah.
Like you're exploring a different storyline each time. But you also, it's the same world. Like you're literally playing the same game. It's just,
Originally it was a PSP game.
Yeah, I actually had it for the PSP. That's why I
Oh,
played it. Yeah, no, I loved that game. So I used to have Mega Man on my SP, and it was a cool game because it was like you had to link into the world.
Oh,
and,
the
like,
Battle Network, I think.
Yeah, and those games were really cool. But they weren't quite like Mega Man. Like I don't know, because I love the Mega Man games, but that was like really cool as well. And it was a little different than the actual Mega Man games because that was more like a platformer, and those were more like kind of like an RPG type of thing. But I really liked those games growing up, and I haven't seen anything like that in a while.
Yeah, I don't think they've made those in a while.
I don't think they've made any Mega Man games in a while.
That is true.
So I was thinking, what would make a really cool like open world expansion game that they had? I think a Metroid open world game would be really cool. Like, because now we have the technology to make it a really awesome game.
Yeah.
Don't you think that would just be awesome? Like you can fly your spaceship, you decide what planet to go to, then you go onto the planet and you can explore, kind of like I don't know, like open world feel like Skyrim or even like Dragon Age Inquisition or something like that. And you have that feeling of exploration as Samus, which would be really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never played a Metroid game, so I can't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should play one. I have Metroid Prime, I think, on my Wii U, and that's probably my favorite Metroid game. So
Yeah.
we should maybe do something with that.
All right, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the B11 show.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Yeah. Play some sound effects here that are like clap sounds. Wow, that was nice. That was really nice.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Join us next time for We're Really Cool.